Have you found yourself navigating a dark night of the soul? Are you craving a deeper connection with the divine feminine? Are you ready to integrate the balanced union of the masculine and feminine within? Then let's get started on the journey towards wholeness to reclaim your sovereign soul. My name is Cynthia Clark. Over the past several decades, I have undergone many dark nights of the soul. My healing journey has been a reclamation of my sovereign divinity. Whether you're just starting out on your self-healing journey or have been exploring techniques for many years, Discover Divinity offers an opportunity to uncover the new possibilities for discovering and reclaiming the innate wisdom within. It is time to discover the new possibilities. It is time to discover you. What if your darkest night wasn't a breakdown, but an initiation? In this episode, the power portal of midlife, awakening, boundaries, and returning to your sovereign self. I am joined by the radiant Michi, a spiritual guide and wisdom keeper who has walked through awakening, energy resets, sacred boundaries, and the deep power of midlife. Together, we are talking about how to live in flow, why boundaries are sacred, and how nature speaks to us when we truly listen. If you are navigating a dark night, standing in the messy middle, or just ready to reclaim your light, this conversation will meet you where you are and gently call you home to your soul. Tune in and rise with us. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Discover Divinity podcast, Reclaim Your Sovereign Soul. I am your host, Cynthia Clark, and this podcast is a sanctuary for those who are walking through the sacred fire of transformation. Here, we explore what it means to alchemize your pain into power, your shadows into sovereignty, and fully embody the divine blueprint within. I am deeply passionate about integrating the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies and guiding individuals just like you to reclaim your light, especially during these potent shifts. We are living during this Aquarian age, and so this space is for seekers, soul-led individuals just like you, and the ones rising from that dark night of the soul into your next evolution. And today's episode is going to be so nourishing. I am so excited to have my guest, Michi DeLucian. Michi is a spiritual guide and a wisdom keeper whose work helps women reclaim their light, reset their energy, and live into their true alignment with their inner wisdom. Her journey has been shaped by deep spiritual awakenings, by releasing old conditioning and connecting with nature, both as a healer and a teacher. Michi teaches that midlife is not a crisis. It is a power portal, and she helps others embrace sacred boundaries, tend to self-care in messy moments, and move through transformation with grace and soul. Her presence is grounded, intuitive, and deeply Aquarian, here to support the collective shift we are all a part of. So welcome to the show, Michi.
Thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here and be with amazing, beautiful lights like you, that we are just all about sharing positive messages, helping people out there just raised to be their best. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And it was such an honor for us to be able to connect on one another's paths. I feel like the universe really does align its stars for people and the experiences. And so before we dive in, I would love to share a little bit about how we connected, because I feel like it's one of the beautiful synchronicities that I feel was just divine timing. And we actually met in a podcasting group, and then we exchanged messages. And then the moment we spoke, like, I felt it instantaneously. It just was this instant resonance. Like it was like, yes, you get
Yes.
it. I see you.
Yes.
And as two Aquarians, I feel like our energy clicked immediately. And if there's anything you want to share about that, I'll share a little bit more, but I would love to just go
Yes.
into that before we dive into today's topic.
No, I love this. I love that you brought that up because this is like the age, right? Like the Aquarian age right now. And it's all about just being in flow. And both of us, two Aquarians here, it is a matter of just letting life push us and guide us in places of non-resistance, right? Like that's how you know that's the way that you're in alignment is when things aren't so resistant or bumpy. And when you and I met, it was really that way. We just jumped on the phone and just immediately started flowing. And it's being intuitives, both of us, working with energy. Our senses are more heightened, right? So we are able to intuitively feel each other. Words
Mm-hmm.
is one thing, energy is vibration. And even you and I can just look at each other and it's more vibration, right? It's like the
Mm-hmm.
feel. We don't have to say words, but it was an instant connection. And this is why I love just having this gift, connecting with other like-minded, other people with this that share the same, quality of life because we become so powerful this way and things in life just start happening for the better and it just pushes you to connections that are going to lead somewhere eventually. You never know. Sometimes people come into your life for a season, for a moment, for a lifetime. You don't know. But yes, it was just such a beautiful connection that we had, and especially you, such a nature lover. I love your posts.
Mm-hmm. Thank
And
you.
yeah, it's about living in high vibration and just
Mm-hmm.
vibing and seeing the greatness in life. That's what life is all about.
Yes, absolutely. I love that we've connected. I love that we're unifying our visionary, soul led, mission driven frequency. It's huge. And like
Yes,
you said, I mean, everything you were saying, I was like, yes, 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 the feeling deeply. But
yes,
that's how I feel is like when two Aquarians meet, it's like the ideas start flowing, the purpose lights up, and the connection feels cosmic.
yes.
And that's really how I feel, and especially in the Aquarian age, I feel like that divine feminine is coming in with such a soft nurturing energy that we're moving out of these hierarchical structures that are all about competition, push, push, push. We've been in a lot of the toxic masculine, toxic feminine energies where it's compete, 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 right? But that's
Yes.
not what the divine feminine is here to teach us through the Aquarian age. It is about bringing unified purpose together because when we unify together, we are able to reach out to the world. The ripples are felt
Mm.
all over. And so I love joining forces with like-minded souls that are all in to
Ah,
rise, remember, and reclaim their
yes.
truth.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
that
That is
being
so true.
said, Michi, welcome again to the
Thank
show. I'm
you.
so grateful
Love it.
to share this space, and I would love to highlight our four, I would say about, well, I'll start naming them and then we'll count how many topics we have. But number one, we were hoping to cover spiritual awakenings
Fun.
and reclaiming our light, which will be huge power foundation for what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, yes.
And then resetting energy and living in flow. And then number three, we'll talk about sacred boundaries and self care. So I feel, especially in that toxic energy that we've been in for so long, this is going to be a huge topic. Self care
Perfect.
is huge. And then midlife. I can't wait to dive into this
That's you
because
and I. Yes.
yes, we've been taught some pretty big myths about midlife, and this is where we are going to alchemize all of those lies and illusions and use it for the power portal. It's like taking our power back for this time of our lives. And
Love it.
then one of our favorite topics is nature and being able to use
Mm-hmm.
that as a healer, a communicator. And so we'll dive in, we'll kind of integrate all of these, but I would love to get started maybe on the spiritual awakenings this reclamation of light. And I'm all about the dark night of the soul. I'm all about that experience, or that thing, or maybe several things of where you went through loss, or maybe that moment that was kind of that awakening for you, if you want to dive in.
Sure, sure. No, thank you. So for me, yes. And I love that you have a passion to speak about Dark Night of the Souls, right? Because a lot of people are ashamed of it, or they're afraid to speak about it, or sometimes they feel alone. And this is something that many, many people go through. Not saying you have to have such a hard life to get anywhere. Some people suffer more than others due to their soul contract or whichever, that they were meant to be here for that reason. And so I just love that you're bringing this up, because it's about time that we all are able to freely and vulnerably talk about it, and normalize it. This, for me, I feel like this 2025, this stage in life, more people are seeking therapy. They're seeking different wellness modalities to just feel better. They're speaking more about their issues, which is wonderful, right? And this is a time that we all need to support each other. And for me, if I could think back to when I started realizing my dark night of the soul, it was when I was in my teens that I started having some, internal battles, but not really quite knowing what that was. And when I became an adult, I got stuck in some toxic relationships. And again, because I didn't know any better, I had the most loving parents, but I grew up in an emotionally complex family household. My father suffering, working for the military, but at the same time suffering with PTSD, emotional issues, addiction. And he did end up getting some help, but with that led to issues within the family. I had, a sibling that was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, which was, he was my best friend growing up. So then there was that issue, and all these different toxic issues being emotionally heavy throughout these years. I didn't know that it would snowball into something worse down the road. I had very low, self-confidence, self-esteem, and I had like an attachment issue. I felt, now I can see it was like a lack of love. And so I would seek, you are, what you vibrate is what you're going to attract. We know that now, you and I, in our midlife stages, but back then we're just going with life and just naturally just attracting those people that we're on the same vibrational state. If I'm weak, I'm going to attract somebody maybe narcissistic, or maybe on just that kind of vibrational level. And so I got into toxic relationships that were not good for me. And once I went year after year experiencing through some tough times, that's when it was like an onion. So like layers started peeling off. So instead of one spiritual awakening, it was like little moments at a time, little layers that were starting to peel, where it just led me to deeper spiritual questions. Who was I? Who am I? What do I want? Is there a God? What is life about? Why is life so tough? Why is it so miserable? And so all these tough moments. I mean, I remember one time when I was younger, which, and I forgive her, but you have to sometimes go into your inner child, right? And see, there's a lot of inner child meditations that you can do as well. But what exactly is something that you still need to heal about yourself? And I remember one time being younger and just being so upset with life, and screaming at God, saying, I hate you. And, why is my life like this? And having like a moment. And if I was to see somebody doing that, I'd be like, back then, like
Mm-hmm.
how dare you do that? But back then I didn't know. So all of these different events just kept pushing me closer and closer to, my awakening, just being unhappy, and just going deeper down inside myself, my feelings, And it was one time I remember it was a relationship that had happened that was very toxic, emotionally abusive, vulnerable, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. And finally, I was like, I don't deserve this. And that was one of the moments where I actually stood up for myself and I knew that I deserved more. And that was one of the biggest awakenings where I knew I was not going to accept this kind of treatment any further. And I will not allow anybody to treat me like that again. And I dove deep into spirituality, and that guided me and through years down the road into my biggest spiritual awakening, which was when I something called to me to go to a retreat in Sedona, Arizona. And there was it was focused on energy healing. And from there, I really had one of my biggest awakenings there that kind of like taught me all about life and the nature of life, and what our purpose is, and that God is within us, and we can have the life that we want. And it's just a matter of believing, trusting, and just going in flow, being in alignment. And I believe that some people can have a traumatic spiritual awakening, and some it's multiple instances that lead you into the direction that you're supposed to go. So it did take me years to realize.
Yeah, well, and I love that you're addressing that because, yeah, it can either be a big, I mean, like an Eckhart Tolle boom experience, or
Mm-hmm.
it can be little by little. You can have
Exactly.
several of those big boom experiences and just know whatever it is perfect for you. It's perfect for your journey. And so I love how you've kind of peeled the onion for us to show those little moments. And
Yes.
when we are thinking about someone that's out there, more than likely, someone that has been through a dark night of the soul, maybe currently is or has started to rise above. Is there something that you could share, maybe with your younger self, that could maybe help a listener today, right? What's one thing that you wish you knew then, to kind of save people time, right? Because when I look at all the things that I've been through, all the decades of work that I've done, peeling back these onions, my intention in doing this work is to be able to help people's journey go so
Mm-hmm.
much easier than what I've had to go through. And so being able to go back and say, "Oh, here's a piece of information so that this journey will go so much easier for you." Do you have any insight there?
So, my advice for anyone out there that's going through this very, very tough and dark time that I wish that I knew when I was younger actually would be that you're not alone. And I know you might think that this is like rock bottom and at the end point, and that it is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. For me, it's a matter of just letting you know that you're not alone out there. And now we have technology, which back then we didn't have as many groups or resources available. And now it's so easy to just do a quick Google search, check Facebook groups, Instagram pages of what you're needing help with. YouTube is fantastic. How to, da, 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 whichever that you are having an issue with. But there are so many people out there like you and I, who are just wanting to help others, and we're in this stage of like transformation, positive transformation. This whole world is just raising higher, as a whole, and this is like the time to reach out, get that help. Don't feel ashamed. This is a time where so many people are actually seeking help, but you're not alone. Reach out. And that's something that I wish I had back then, but I kept quiet. I kept years of feeling miserable. I didn't know what to do. So my first advice is just reach out. How to, whatever your problem is, and search wellness coaches, life coaches, therapists. Sometimes it's more the natural, holistic, spiritual coaches who can just at least guide you into the right direction. Sometimes it's not necessarily needing medical attention. Sometimes you may need that. That's totally fine. But I feel like it's all about deep work. A lot of the reason that we are feeling the way we are is due to our upbringing, whether it's what you were experiencing in that family, and if not, it is generational energy that's carrying on. So at some point, you do need to speak with somebody to kind of, as much as you are maybe scared and you don't want to think back, you do need to go deep down, do some deep work, but just find somebody that you can connect with and somebody that you feel good with. Please trust your body, trust your gut, listen to your body, don't doubt it. But if you have this any inkling of feeling just off or uncomfortable with a certain person that is trying to tell you something, just trust your body and seek maybe a second opinion. But definitely, I would say move forward. All it takes is one call or one message to just help you kind of lift you from the position that you're in now. And that's what I would love to just let people know.
Uh, but yeah, that's huge. It was great as you were speaking. I like as you were having that sentence. I mean, no one can see me. If they're watching the YouTube, they can see my face probably, but I was like grinning from ear to ear because as you were saying things, I was in the same stream of thought. It's like I had that thought right before you said it, and I'm like
That's
that
so
couldn't have
cool.
been more perfect advice. Like I think that like especially in the world of self-improvement or self-awareness, it's all about rainbows and roses. I've talked about this before. It's all about, ooh, the feel good, enlightened, part of this work, but we cannot go through that part without the other. We've
Yep.
got to be willing to lean into these shadows. And so when you said something about letting go of that shame, that's huge.
Yes.
And when I had originally gone through so much of my deep healing work, had risen above like a rising phoenix, like so powerful to like move through as many things as I did and to move into my business, my platform. Like it felt really good to feel good. And
Yeah.
then a couple years ago, I was hit with unexpected trauma. I had another dark night of the soul hit me. And it was really interesting to have to come into that space of letting go of that shame, of going, wait, like I've already done all these things. I've established this foundation, like I'm supposed to have all these tools, and yet I'm going through this. And it was a really difficult thing to just come face to face with another layer of myself, to then be okay with letting people see that side of you that wasn't always put together and prim and proper and perfect. Like that's the old paradigm. This is the old
Yeah.
push masculine energy that our society has been in for so long. And that's the beauty of going through these dark night of the soul experiences is it peels us back one more layer at a time to
Mm-hmm.
let go of that shame, to let go of that part of ourselves that doesn't want to be seen. And when you can allow yourself to do that, you step into another reclamation of self-love. For me,
Yes.
another thing I wanted to point out was, more than ever during this work, like self-love is foundational. And when I was going through what I did, in this next little bout of a dark night,
Mm-hmm.
it was just enough for me to raise my head off of the pillow and choose myself that day. Like
Wow.
instead of having to focus on everyone else, because I had spent years focusing on everyone else, giving to everyone else, it was those moments that I had to get up, choose to get dressed for myself, look at myself in the face, and say, I love you just the way that you are. There's nothing that you have to be
Wow.
doing in order to be worthy and lovable. And so, along with, letting go of the shame, not being afraid to, seek help or have someone out there be your support system, that's huge.
Yes.
and then be willing to lean into those shadows, be willing to lean into those darker corners that are ready to be seen, because this is the new doorway. It
Mhm.
is kind of like that metaphorical death. It's letting go of that old identity and it's moving into the new rebirth. And so
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And as I think, as long as we're living, we go through these stages, and I think that they can become less intense, but not always. Like for me, I wasn't expecting what happened to me a couple years ago, and it did. And I had to sit with that. And as I did, and as I am rising, once again, there are new levels and layers that I'm stepping into,
Mhm.
finding that space of self love for me, finding that innate wisdom within. And so I love what you
Mm.
shared. I think they vibed
Yeah.
really, really well together because, you know, we're going to get into some of like the bigger tools, right?
Yeah.
To get into resetting the energy and living in flow. But during those really dark nights, it's enough just to open your eyes, to take a breath,
Mhm.
say, I'm choosing you today.
Yes.
You're worth this day. And to
Yeah.
get up and choose yourself and to
Yep.
get through the day. And there's nothing big or extravagant. That's enough. And
That's
so
enough.
letting go of all of the illusions and lies that we've ever been taught that our worth
Mhm.
comes from anything else but our existence is a huge one.
That is
So,
so perfect what you said.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, if someone out there is really in that deep, dark space, is that those tools will kind of help them be able to step over that little barrier. Because
Yeah.
sometimes that can be the hardest thing, I think, is
Yes.
feeling safe to say, hey, I'm not okay and I need support.
Yes.
It's big. And when
And
you
the
can make
easiest
that,
thing, no,
yes.
100%. And the easiest thing is for that person that's experiencing just a really, really deep, dark time. It's as simple as finding someone in a group. Like there's so many ways now than there were years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
that person most likely at this moment of that dark, dark time needs just to vent and someone to just authentically listen to them. That's it.
Absolutely.
Just to
Absolutely.
listen and not judge and just, let them go. And so if you're a friend out there, if you're a family member out there, sometimes if you don't know what to say, don't say anything, but just be there to validate what they're going through, because not
Yes.
everybody's the same. We all have different upbringings and different strengths and gifts. So it's a matter of just listening, and
Absolutely.
that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I think I mean, we started with the deep, dark part first, but I really wanted to focus on that and address that because it is that alchemical magic that comes after we go through this. And so being able to know, just like you said, that it's not the end, it's only the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. And yes, there is a metaphorical end. There is an end to an identity or a belief system or a part of you, but it's only the beginning. And we start to move into that rebirth. And that's when we get to start to unlearn, let go, right? Let go of all the old belief systems and start to live a life
Mm-hmm.
of flow and abundance. And so maybe if you want to help the viewers understand maybe the difference between flow and avoidance, and then how maybe a little bit of how to start to step into that flow.
Absolutely. And that took me time to really understand. And I believe the first step to me is just showing up, doing some type of energy work within yourself, learning how to connect with your soul, and connect with source energy. That's going to help you understand and feel, basically understand better what's around you, and understanding which direction you should go in life. So for me, resistance is the key to not being in flow. when something gets so complicated or you are very bumpy and things are just constantly not going the right way, not going the right way, that's just a sign that you need to listen to. And sometimes, and again, it's more just paying attention to how the situations are going, how you are feeling. And if it is feeling bumpy and edgy and just resistant, then you're not in the right direction right now. And sometimes the universe will shake things up to push you in the right direction. Sometimes something terrible may happen. Sometimes something very slight would happen. You just need to be aware of your surroundings, aware of just paying attention, being more self-aware of everything, being more present. So that's why I wanted to bring up the importance of connection with self, connection with source energy, because that's how you're going to be able to just be more present day to day to day. And so avoidant is more being uncomfortable, setting boundaries. So you're either going to, in life, if say you have a goal that you want to do, and you can have any goal you want, call that your manifestation, whichever the case, but universe won't give you that until you are ready to accept it and receive it, and until you are prepared to receive it. And so being avoidant to something is, maybe if you're uncomfortable but it doesn't feel bumpy and it doesn't feel negative, then it's good to be uncomfortable, be out of the box, because that promotes change, right? But if it's uncomfortable in a way that it's a gut feeling where it just feels negative, then that is something that you want to not take. That is something that you want to avoid. Right. So I think just being in flow in life is just paying attention to how things feel within your body. Listen to your body. And again, there's two different types of uncomfortable. One is just feeling a little nervous, maybe a little bit scared, but is that something that just feels like a bad gut feeling? You can tell the difference once you learn to connect within. But definitely if things become too complicated, that to me is a clear sign that you're not in the right direction.
Well, and different symptoms in our bodies or emotions or sensations are here to teach us. And so if it doesn't feel like a firefly to the light energy, like those other things are deeper messages. And so that's what I love being able to facilitate with my clients, is being able to help them understand how to tune in and be intuitive, like listen to that. And sometimes it can feel hard because in our society, we've been so taught to not trust ourselves and always seek outside, always trust an outside source. And it's typically rooted in fear or shame that we lose that inner compass. And so, in that work, it is peeling the onion, it is listening, it's tuning in. And eventually you get into those firefly to the light sensations in the body where you feel more and more led. And I think, as we are moving into this third section that we're going to talk about, and you mentioned it just a little bit before, we're about boundaries. Boundaries are super sacred, and being able to, especially in this world, so many of us have grown up as people pleasers, especially if there have been narcissistic situations, abusive situations. I mean, we live in a very toxic patriarchal society that has, unfortunately, created men and women to just stuff it down, not speak up, just go with it. And so I loved how you had said that one of your catalysts, was getting into a relationship that was unhealthy for you and finally recognizing this is disregarding to me. And you took that moment to say, I've got to do something different. And so what would you say as far as boundaries, for the audience, or even yourself personally, to help people shift their energy? Because that's how we want to be able to get into this flow, is starting to tune into the body, so that we can start to create boundaries and eventually get into our power.
You said it right there. And pretty much everything that we are talking about today, it is all about being in tuned and connected to self and source energy. So those toxic relationships, all of that, we can totally understand the position that we're in, and whether it's meant for us or not, whether it's right for us or not, if we listen to our body. So for anyone out there that is just knows deep, deep inside, don't think too much, but if you are right now unhappy, unsatisfied in life, perhaps miserable in life, at any moment you have it's the power of choice. You can change, but all of it stems back to listening to your body. Everybody has this gift of intuition, this gift of the message from your higher self. Are you unhappy? Like, what's the very first thing that comes to your mind? And start with those self boundaries. It's very, very important. And you have the power. I know things may be difficult. Perhaps you're stuck in a household where you can't afford to live on your own. There is a way, once you start from what we had mentioned before, reaching out to somebody, a therapist or a coach, to kind of help you if you feel like you're stuck, like you can't really get out of the situation you're in. Otherwise, I would just say, if it's easier for you to leave the environment you're in, you have the power of choice. Set those boundaries. Listen to your body. There's no point that anybody in this life should be living miserably. Life is so beautiful, even though it's like crazy beautiful, I say, because it's just, even the most perfect person, the billionaires out there, you're gonna have those very, very dark nights of the soul. Sometimes you're gonna have this perfect business and then boom, bankruptcy comes. It's all to just keep building you for something higher that is meant for you, and it's preparing you. So for that person right there, just listen to your body. How do you feel? If you're feeling bad of where you are with the relationship you're in, just start by either a conversation with that person, whether it's yourself or whomever, but it all starts with like the universal law is just vibration, and listen to your body, listen to yourself. You have the power to change at any moment. And people pleasing, I was a huge, maybe it's easier for us Aquarians, because we're very much nurturers, empathetic naturally, and we want to help everyone and always be there for that person. But sometimes the bad part is we neglect ourselves. And so it's a matter of boundaries, and yes, just listen to your body. At any moment where you are, you have the power to change. Make that change today, and start just by a little step of just reaching out and getting some guidance. Find a YouTube to guide you, but setting boundaries and just realizing that you are worthy of being happy, of having what you want. As long as you are prepared for it and you are ready for it, then the universe will give it to you.
Yeah, and I think with that balanced masculine and feminine energy that we have within, whether you're a man or a woman listening, we each have the feminine and masculine qualities within. And so because we have been in such a push society, it's all about give, 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 give. Eventually, like, your body's going to get to a breaking point. It's going to get to a place of shutdown. And so being able to balance the feminine and the masculine, because that feminine is about presence. It is, the feminine isn't unproductive. I want people to understand that, but the feminine has more of a nurturing quality. And so when we can take time to care for self, to fill our metaphorical wells, so that we can then have more of an output, it's that give and that receive cycle of life that helps us be able to be more purposeful and be able to step into our wisdom. And I'm going to take a little moment here, because I do have both men and women listeners. So I don't want any men on the podcast today to feel as if, we're just talking about women today. But this is a little section just for women, because, when I think about women, both of us are in our midlife.
Yeah.
Right. And especially with the way society moves, with the rhythms of the earth, it's a go, 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 right? And with where we're moving, in these different stages of life, midlife, going through perimenopause, menopausal stages have kind of been almost demonized or kind of like shoved over to a corner. The wisdom keepers of society that move into these matriarch and crone stages are not really revered for the power that they hold. And when I think about the divine feminine that was swept off of the planet thousands and thousands of years ago with the toxic patriarchal movement, we really forgot some of that womb wisdom. And so that's why I love that we're talking about midlife right now. I want to be able to hold space for the men that are in midlife too, because that's a very, very important topic for men just as much as women. But for a moment, I want to just give a highlight to the womb, and that because of toxic patriarchy, we lost that connection to our wombs to listen to what is going on. And so just like we talked about before, tuning into the body, tuning into the emotions, tuning into those belief systems, we as women in this midlife part of our cycles get to tune into our wombs. And so, you know, as we're both stepping into this phase, you know, it comes with different symptoms, different experiences. But I would love for you to share a little bit more, maybe about why you think that society has taught women to fear or minimize this part of their lives. And then maybe some things that have surprised you as you've stepped into this phase, maybe some of those pleasant surprises. So someone out there in that midlife stage can go, okay, this isn't as bad as it could be, even though it feels really bad because society, like I said, puts it out there like it's a horrible thing. And we've got to transmute that. We've got to alchemize that shadow today and take our power back as women.
I love that. No, I love that you brought that up. And well, it's because society has made us to where they want to keep a lot of us. It was created to keep the majority, right? The masses in a box. So they're not as powerful as they can be. Now, thousands of years ago, our gifts were so heightened and we were able to connect telepathically and do all of these things, energy healing, just like to the highest power, because we weren't as dumbed down as we are now. And so for me, I feel like women specifically, we are very much more intuitive. Everybody has this gift, but women specifically have more of that power, right? Nurturing, empathic powers, and just naturally, right? Men, the masculines, are more of the heavier logical thinkers, and the providers, there for the families. And so for us, I feel like we have this power to be higher and just do so much more in life. And I feel like it's just to keep us down, you know, that's the purpose. I think like we just have so much more to give. And right now it's a matter of just generation after generation and what people are just used to.
Yeah, well, and that's what it is. Like we're contending with thousands and thousands of years of programs. And so that's why I think both of us as Aquarians feel so strongly as humanitarians to get our messages out there. We both are, you know, oracles. We speak, we like to share so that we can spread those ripples of education, so that we can unlearn those toxic patterns. And so that both men and women can step into their gifts, like honor the masculine and feminine qualities that lie within, so that we can have healthy humans, you know, running our planet for the next however many thousands of years. And so there's so much power that comes from that. I'm just starting to even, you know, place your hands on your womb as a
Yes,
woman,
very powerful.
and just breathing into the womb and saying thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, there
Yes,
may be a lot of wounding that can come up in that area, but there's also a lot of beautiful expressions that can come when you finally start to love it. Because even as women, from early on, you know, as teenage girls, we're taught, oh, it's that time of the month, right? Or, ooh, you know, and it's just been so, um, it's been such a negative experience collectively.
right.
And when I study ancient wisdom, like this is a rite of passage. Each stage
Mm-hmm.
that we go through is a rite of passage, and it's that next doorway
Yes,
into connecting in with our divine feminine wisdom. And so
I
this
love that
is
you
a
bring that up.
yeah, it's so powerful. And so hopefully some of the women listeners out there will realize, okay, I'm not alone. There's something
No,
new that gets to wake up with inside of me, and
yes.
you get to hold those sacred keys of
And
awareness.
no, for sure. And then you had mentioned, and I love that you brought up our cycles as well, because we did. I used to think, oh, why do we get these things? Oh my God, this is horrible. I mean, I had it really bad when I was younger, really bad. I'd have so many accidents. I'll be like, why is this happening? Oh, it's so terrible, thinking something was wrong with me. But now, as I've gotten older, we're in our midlives, we're more soul led, spiritual led. This is actually we need to feel good about this time of the month because our body systems are working perfectly. It's cleansing. This is a time of cleansing, of renewal. So when you experience that cycle, and as we get older, of course, through menopause, it's going to lessen and lessen, but this is your natural body, your clock that's going through its process, us humans. So this is all a part of life. It's best to not try to, take all of these different controls and medications to hide it and to push it away. Let it come naturally. There are other natural ways to help lessen any kind of heavy flows or pains or look at brain fog. You saw me earlier. I had a moment of brain fog, and this is all natural during our midlife as women. And it's okay. This is all part of life where nobody's perfect. And when you were saying all like putting your hands on your womb is so powerful. Studying the chakras, your lower chakras is your energetic storage. And even what's good, and the days that you're just maybe not feeling so well, and you may have trauma as well, I would suggest grabbing some beautiful gems or stones and crystals and making this a time for you to be in your bed and place your hands on your womb, put those crystals on your womb as well. And just, it's carries an energy as well. And it does help soothe you. And there's so many different things to also do. But I love that you said that and you brought that up because, yeah, a lot of people try to push it away and hide it and think it's something wrong with them. And it's just a natural body process, and be grateful that
Mm-hmm.
your body is still functioning.
Yes, and I think that leads us into another ritual or something that we can do to help us like step into that embodiment, like of just being in the body, being okay with the different symptoms that we're having, is to connect into nature. So I would love for you to expand a little bit about nature, maybe a moment, you know, where you felt that deep connection or transmission to nature, because I think that that's the way that Mother Earth is
Mhm.
a very feminine energy. She speaks to us all the time.
All the time, all the time. And until I started studying energy work, working with my chakras, bouncing more, because in my past years, my nervous system was really, really unbalanced and just unregulated. And energy work did help balance me more, calm me more. I was just going through a lot. So, and I was always much more hyper than usually all those others around me. And now I'm able to contain it better since working with my chakras. And once you work energy work, doing mindfulness every day, even it just takes 5 minutes a day, but there's so many different activities that you can do, mindful activities. But believe it or not, it helps you become more sensitive to nature and more in tune with the things around you. So when you are out in nature, I love to go no shoes, and it's very hippie, but it's very grounding at the same time. And when you become more aware of your surroundings and more in tune, as you step, you're feeling the healing as you're doing it. For those that become very in tune, it takes work, but just start one day, 5 minutes a day. And I remember, as after probably, I would say, almost a year working on myself with my chakras and energy healing, I was in Arizona in the mountains, and there was like a nice, cute little waterfall there. And I was just going on my little hike. And one of the practices earlier that day that I had learned from one of the groups there was just sitting and more meditating, being still, not really doing anything except for just listening and being around. And whatever comes to you, let it go, let it release. So I was walking myself to a little beautiful red rock area with a cute little waterfall, and just getting in tune to myself, really not doing much, but just sitting there and just listening around. And it was just the water that I just heard falling, and whether there was birds around, different noises going on, but it was the water specifically that was very healing for me. And I felt, and then from there, I just started tearing, and it was more like a release of just extra residue, emotional weight that was just being washed away. And these are simple practices that people can actually do, whether you're in nature is best, yes, but there's many different meditations that you can find online as well. I'm sure you have some. I have some also that I could share, but that the water is just a form of high vibration and just healing and soothing, and can help release an emotion or a thought through your body once you learn the proper way to do that. So I just felt like an overall, more like a cleanse during this time of my hike, and it was just beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I would just say focus on energy healing to become more in tuned, because nature speaks, nature heals you naturally without having to do anything. And when you become more in tuned, trees, for instance, have so much wisdom there for years, the trees, the roots connected to Mother Gaia, connected to the center of the earth, and from many humans and souls passing by, coming and going, it just holds so much wisdom. And so sometimes you can even just, if you're deeply in tune, just touch a tree, hang on, and ask a question. And sometimes you receive this vibrational feedback. That's happened to me before also. Back in the day, I would say, whoop, I would never do so. Look at that hippie, right? Like I didn't, yeah. And now here I am in my midlife, and I'm like, I love the trees. They're talking to me.
Yes, I love sitting with the trees, the earth,
Yes.
and when I call it the sacred pause, when we lean into that divine feminine, when we hold into that space. I feel like that's, because I am so passionate about like breaking out of toxic patriarchy. I have a whole episode devoted to it. I feel like part of that purpose was to shut us out from our innate knowing and our wisdom. And that was to keep us busy. It was to keep us busy on these hamster wheels, spinning over and over and over. And we're so busy. And with the technological age, it has a great purpose, but it also can keep us even more entrenched or chained into those hamster wheels. And so when we can actually just unhook, cut the cord,
yes,
and step back in, this is when your greatest intuitive impressions, your sacred awakenings will come, is when we can go back into nature, when we can come into the sacred pause, and we can breathe in our wisdom. So I feel like that's like the perfect like encircling as we're closing, because I'm like, nature feels so simple.
Yes.
But it is the core of where the answers lie.
Yeah.
Like if you can pause and you can come back,
yes,
the whole world starts to unlock.
Yes, and start to speak to you, right? There's
Yes.
symbols and signs around that you
Yes.
can even ask for a sign, but you have to tell the universe, show me a butterfly, show me a hummingbird, and those nature hears you, it feels you. You
Yes.
don't have to.
Oh,
Words are powerful, even
yeah.
if it's a different language. They all carry everything carries vibration.
Yes. Oh, so huge. And that's my hope is today as we've had this sharing together is that a listener out there maybe will have heard something in a new way because we've talked about a
Hmm.
lot of principles, we've talked about a lot of things, but it's just that peeling of the onion. It's just that one more layer of awareness to go, "Oh, wow." Just that one more light bulb moment that gives you
Yeah,
that piece of insight. And that's why I love doing my podcast. That's why I've carried the Discover Divinity platform with courses, is to help people come back to that part of
yeah,
themselves. And
yeah.
so I love where we've gone with today's topic. And I would love, as we are concluding, if there's maybe one more thing that you'd like to share or something you feel like we've missed, to feel free to, if there's anything else you want to talk about as we close today.
Oh, um, I would just say that for everyone out there, no matter where you are in your life, being curious is such an awesome thing. Whether you may not be feeling well right now, whether you are feeling at your highest right now, that's wonderful. But what is that thing in your mind that you've wanted to try or perhaps wanted to get healing for? Just be curious. Take that step to reach out to someone or something and start from there because you can change your life at any moment. And that's one thing that I didn't really understand or see the importance of it back then is that your life can change like this. So it lies with the power of choice. So anyone sitting there listening now, you're not alone. You have the power to change your life right now by just doing one thing. And just also, please do not neglect yourself. Do not feel bad for giving attention to yourself. This comes from a people pleaser in the past and I neglected myself way too long. And I'm here to just tell you that you are supported by, two awesome ladies here and that you're not alone. Reach out and we're here for you. And that's just my calling has always been to just wanting to lift others and help them feel more free and supported and loved, which is something that I felt lack of from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here. You have the power to change, and universe is powerful. Nature is amazing, and it's all your answers are right there. You just need to learn to listen in, and especially working with energy work is amazing. It's going to help you
Mm-hmm.
through.
Oh, I've so enjoyed today, Michi. This has
Yes,
like been
yes,
amazing, and I'll make sure to share your links in the comments below so that our viewers know
sure.
where to find you. And I'm super excited because we both are in this podcasting world, and so not
Fun
too in
time.
the too far distance. I'm going to be on your podcast as well,
Yes,
so
in a
it's.
couple weeks. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
so make sure that you look for that. I mean, as we post these, we'll make sure to post our
To
links so
update
that
them. Hmm.
you can watch both of them. You can tune
Uh,
in on our audio platforms, and
yeah,
it is just such a sacred honor. Like I said,
I
walking with
love
a
it.
soul sister, like it's so amazing and so fun to be on this path and to support each other and to join this cosmic
Mm,
awakening. Like it's spreading,
amen.
and there's so many people that are coming on, they're tuning on, they're waking up, they're breaking out of
Yes.
those old paradigms.
Oh,
So I'm just excited for what we will be creating in the future. And
yes.
again, just an honor. And as we close today, if we can just take a deep breath, of gratitude.
Powerful. Yes.
Yeah, just lean into the power.
Yes.
All these beautiful pieces of wisdom, and and just leaning into our heart, our heartfelt sharing today, and experiencing this presence of wisdom. And thank you so much for your shared experience. It was beautiful. Sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable, but I feel like as we are vulnerable, we help other people.
Oh,
And so,
absolutely. No, for
yeah,
sure. Thank you for all you do also. And this is the message that just needs to get out there. And yeah, let's
absolutely.
all live our best life.
Yes. So if you are walking your own dark night of the soul, or maybe you've risen and you're coming through that and you're learning to redefine your boundaries or soften this midlife experience, or you're just learning to trust yourself again, I hope that this episode reminds you that you're not alone, and being able to tune into this journey as a sacred experience and just know that your process is unfolding exactly as it should be, and that the light is not gone. It's actually growing inside of you. And so let this invitation today to be a reminder to slow down, listen in, and remember that you are wise, you are whole, and you are sovereign. And in this conversation, if something moved you, please share it with someone that needs the conversation today. And I can't wait until our next episode. I can't wait to be on Michi's podcast as well. So until next time,
Yay!
yes, it's going to be so great. So sending you all off today to walk in gentleness. And we both honor your becoming and always coming back to the truth of who you are. Thank you for listening to the Discover Divinity podcast. If this podcast resonates with you, I invite you to check out discoveringdivinity.com. You will find resources to reclaim your sacred, sovereign spirituality. Here, you can join the Discover Divinity community, where we have free online community classes, as well as done-for-you courses and programs. Navigating the unique personal path to wholeness can feel overwhelming at times. If you would like further support or are ready to take your healing empowerment to the next level, I offer one-on-one intuitive sessions in a variety of different packages where we will discover, release, create, reclaim. Discover your innate wisdom that lies within. Release the imbalances that prevent you from living your truth. Create harmony in body, heart, mind, spirit, energy, and relationships. Reclaim your sovereign soul. It is time to discover new possibilities. It is time to discover you.